Okay, we are live again for another show. 3 days in a row now. We are on fire, guys. We are now live on Binance as well. Just checking this out. Good. And man, what a day to do a live 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there who celebrates. I know a lot of Americans are feeling pretty good right about now, about at least in our world, in the crypto world, that things are looking insanely bullish. There's a lot to be happy about, and what a time to be alive. I think we can all agree on that, regardless on what's happening in the world. And the turmoil that's happening. We are in the midst of this sort of, and I know Tripp, you and I have discussed this before, this beginning of the industrial revolution, right? Of this decentralized revolution, I should say. Sorry. And that is super special because this only happens every once in a while. So I'm going to be going over some news about Michael Saylor and why he believes this could be the beginning of the gold rush for Bitcoin, and why this Bitcoin train might just have left the station and might just not stop. I mean, we don't know. We've taken it level by level, day by day, but there's just every day another news piece that leads to more and more bullish fundamental action, right? Like in the world, in the atmosphere. And it's pretty cool to see the US like this today. Actually, I did a podcast with Anthony Scaramucci, who's notoriously, big into politics, and he's not a big fan of Trump, but he did say back in April that we should never bet against the US, that it is this incredible risk-taking culture, and even if we go through some ups and downs and some hurdles, it'll always come around. And that was back in April during the reign of terror from Gary Gensler, the former SEC. And now here we are, and he was right. He was absolutely right about that. He nailed it. So that's really cool to see that we've come full circle in this moment. I'm really appreciating that today and soaking it in, as it is 4th of July and everybody's sort of celebrating on this day, who's in the US anyway. And it's fun to reflect on how far we've come and what's ahead, right? Like, this is just such a fun time to be in this market. And I know Tripp and I have calls every day about what's happening, and we've decided to let all of you in on that. Instead of just having these calls between us, we want to give as much value as possible. So we're jumping on daily for right now, updating you on the charts, on what's happening. Not too much has happened for Bitcoin since yesterday, but we are going to go over key support trend line to watch today. As far as a lot of people are asking, well, what's happening? And they're freaking out that Bitcoin's dipping a little bit. So we're going to go over that, and also 3 altcoins that are looking pretty good right about now. And I'll just let you know to tune in till the end in case you want to hear about these. It's HBAR. For you HBARbarians. And if you go look at the Hedera Hashgraph Association on X, they retweeted a piece from my podcast with Kevin O'Leary yesterday about HBAR being his most undervalued crypto, that he believes is going to be one of the most promising for the next cycle. So if you hold HBAR, let me know in the comments. I guess you're called HBARbarians, which I also learned yesterday, which is pretty funny. So there's a lot of things to be happy about today. So I'm going to go through the news a little bit as we're waiting for people to join. And guys, like always, let me know where you're tuning in from, how you're feeling today. I woke up pumped, full of energy, ready to go. HBAR all day. We already have an HBARbarian in the house. So that's cool. We've got a cool chart for you, don't we, Tripp?
Yeah, we got a couple of nice charts today. HBAR looks pretty good right now. It seems to be bottoming out, like a lot of altcoins seem to be. So there could be some extreme upside coming as long as Bitcoin behaves. So we're going to talk about that today.
Bitcoin better behave. That's all I'm saying. LA in the house. Wow. I got to say, I'm a little bit jealous today. I love living in Spain, but this is a day where I miss the US a lot. It's one of my favorite days to celebrate. So I hope you have an amazing day, Brendan. And Gary, man, we love you. Thanks for joining. This is such good energy. I mean, we're a small group of just people who are really into what's happening now with good vibes, positive energy, and just, getting the edge. Actually, ChatGPT, I put some of my tweets. I just want to see what's the best way to engage. And it actually said for me to say, tune in now, because your edge is one click away. So that's what trading is. It's actually giving you an edge. Just like this might be a bad analogy, but when you go in the casino and maybe you know how to count cards, or you have some sort of edge, usually the house wins because they have the edge on you. But we have the edge now because we have one of the best analysts in the space, Tripp, from the Capital Mindset. I mean, wow. you guys are in very good hands here indeed. So trading is a really important skill to learn. We're doing a flash sale for summer 4th of July, 20% off. The link is in the description below. So we've had a lot of new signups lately. That's really fun to see. And we're all doing this together as a community day by day. So Trip is constantly updating us there and all of our analysts. We got a whole house full of analysts, and you can also learn how to leverage trade. So that's a really special skill. Brendan says he's going to be an incredible day out in Hermosa Beach. Wow, what a place. What a place. I got to say, I'm jealous. I am jealous. But it's really fun to hear from you, Brendan. And yeah, I think I'll get right into the news for today. But as always, I like to inject a little bit of optimism because I'm just sort of an internal optimist, and I'm very bullish on this space macro, regardless of the midterm noise, that may happen. So let's get right into this. This is what I wanted to show you to start off today. This is the Bitcoin price every 4th of July. It's important to go back and reflect on how far we have come. We started at just 1 cent in 2010. Can you imagine that? 1 cent, $15, $7.77. But you get the picture, right? Every year, even if we go back a little bit 1 year, I mean, we're just this is exponential growth. I mean, there's no asset on earth that is doing as well as Bitcoin right now. It is just the number one asset to hold. People are realizing this. And yesterday in the stream, I showed kind of like a meme about how it's never been an easier time to get ahead and to grow your wealth, because all you literally have to do is buy and hold. Now, that's one strategy, but the other strategy is to learn how to trade and compound your gains, which will make that wealth generate exponentially faster if you learn how to do it. If you manage your risk properly, it is super fun as well. So that's cool. This is something I want you guys, you in Hermosa Beach, you're going to love this one. 5 years of stacking, 50 years of slacking. I mean, it pays to be laser focused now, guys. Just keep your eyes on the prize, and then you're going to have an amazing life of financial freedom, of breaking away from, okay, we'll call it the matrix, getting out of the rat race. Whatever your goal is, you can attain it. And we're going to do that together on this channel. Next up, we got Michael Saylor, who dropped the bombshell of his Bitcoin strategy for 2025 presentation. So basically, he says that 2025 marks the first year of the Bitcoin gold rush. That's pretty cool, right? I don't know if and also I've shown charts in my previous videos where right after the gold ETF was launched, I mean, it was just up and to the right for years, right? So if that's any indication, we're in for some incredible time. So he says this is the decade where it all happens. From 2025 to 2035, the first mega corporations are realistically buying billions worth of BTC. Governments and states are now publicly disclosing Bitcoin allocation. And by 2035, 99% of all Bitcoin will be mined. And the remaining 1% takes over 100 years. Isn't that insane? Like, I don't think that's hit people yet. By 2035, 99% of all the Bitcoin in existence. This is the window of opportunity before exponential scarcity sets in. And Trip, I know we've talked about, that effect of the supply shock effect and what it essentially means. And you actually gave a good analogy. Do you remember what it was? It was something about how, let me pull you up here, sorry, you guys can't see my screen. I'll share my screen here so you can see some of the stuff that I'm talking about. Let's see if I can put that up here. I'm going to put you up on this Michael Saylor tweet that I was looking at earlier. Where was I? Here. Okay, so my goodness. Here. So Trip, we were talking earlier about how, essentially maybe the halving isn't in effect so much as it was before. And it's just more and more of these mini cycles, right? Can you expound upon that? Do you remember what we were talking about when we were discussing that?
Yeah, we were just talking about how more companies and businesses and other people in general are just buying up more of the Bitcoin than before. So instead of waiting for the halving and having the halving effect feel like we're going through a supply shock, now it seems like we're getting that feeling more often on a regular basis.
Right. Yeah. And so this could be the beginning, potentially, if he's calling it the gold rush, and this is what I was reading to you guys before, the beginning of this sort of super cycle, right? And now he says you have 10 years. After that, it's game over for accumulation. That's a pretty crazy thought, right? But now we're in the midst of this. And if this is the beginning of the gold rush, then you're still in time, to try to accumulate your Bitcoin holdings for the future. Obviously, I believe that altcoins are like the softwares, right? I say this every time, the Amazons, the Ubers, the big mega horses to win the race. That's what we're all looking for. as far as portfolio and investments, but on the trading side, obviously, you're trying to compound those gains, right? So let's get into just a little bit of news here. The U.S. House passes President Trump's one big beautiful bill. Now, there are a lot of things about this bill, but it's going to raise the debt ceiling by trillions. And the one thing that we must know about that is what is inevitable is that the money printer will turn on. Senator Loomis introduces a bill to exempt tax on crypto transactions under $300. So there's just becoming more and more bullish news out there that favors investing in crypto, right? Which is super cool to see. We went over this yesterday. The U.S. Director of Digital Assets, Bo Hine, says we want as much Bitcoin as we possibly can accumulate. That is crazy. Did you ever imagine that there would be a day? I remember when Michael Saylor first announced that he was going to start buying Bitcoin. That was like, wow, we're passing the adolescence phase. And now it's like the U.S. is announcing they want to buy it all, right? Like we came so far in such a short time, it feels. And President Trump is putting pressure on Jerome Powell to resign immediately. He wants the rates to be cut. There is some sort of speculation because what is that when you've been fired? Layoffs have been less. There's less layoffs than we thought before. So that came in better than predicted. And we're just looking for inflation now. And if that comes in strong, potentially they're saying that Powell won't have to cut the rates, or if it comes in a little bit weaker. Anyway, there's a lot going on now. I got a lot in my mind, but just know that things are happening. The Solana ETF just launched. Staking ETF hits 12 million in its first healthy day of trading. You got Tom Lee, who just launched an ETH ETF, kind of like Foundation Treasury, who wants to buy $250 million worth of ETH. This is wild. It's all starting to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. And finally, before we get into the charts with Trip, we print money out of thin air, lend it to you with interest, then tax you for using it, and you spend your life trying to keep up. We don't want that to be you on this channel. So that's why we're doing these streams, to help you as much as possible. So yeah, Trip, I mean, man, got any thoughts before we jump into the charts? How are you feeling today?
Yeah, today I'm sort of 50-50. I really need to see what Bitcoin's going to do here. It's not really exciting to see Bitcoin make moves like this when it's a Friday. Typically, you don't want to see any gaps form over the weekend on the CME. So when I see a move like this happening, it starts to make me a little concerned about what kind of curveballs are we going to see. Is this just a liquidity grab, or really it's just making me ask more questions instead of just following a normal routine, which is nice to see once in a while.
Right. Yeah. We're all just hoping that Bitcoin will kind of just do its thing, behave, and go smoothly. Right. But as of late, it's kind of been pretty choppy and a lot of whipsaw action, potentially some stop loss hunting going on here as, we reach these critical levels, and a lot of people are just laser focused on the Bitcoin chart. So we're going to go over where Bitcoin is now. But before we do so, Andrew, what's up? Guys, hit the like button if you can. That would help us out so much. We all appreciate you being here. Watchman, what's up? Yes, Gary says you want as much XRP, HBAR, CSPR, and DAG. I'm not sure what CSPR is. I definitely agree on the XRP and HBAR. Those are in my pillars of my portfolio as well, my long-term portfolio. And yeah, we're doing the thing, guys. Happy 4th of July. Just let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you are just tuning in, we're about to cover the Bitcoin chart and what's going on now that Bitcoin has taken a little bit of a dip here. So Trip, I'm going to add your charts to the stage. Just a second. Got to remove mine first. All right. So let's go over the Bitcoin charts.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the Bitcoin 6-hour chart. We've been watching this channel develop over the past, I guess it's a couple of months or so far. Recently, we just saw this breakout above the channel, and now we're looking for this retest of that channel right here. So Bitcoin needs to hold this retest. We don't want to see this turn into a fake out, because then we could come back inside of the pattern. Typically, if you come back into the side of the pattern after a fake out, it tends to be a pretty strong move, because all the bulls seem to think that they got faked out on that move, and it's time to exit their position and wait for something better. So really right now it's a critical moment. We need to see there's about 2.5 hours left on this 6-hour candle forming at the moment. So the best case scenario is this turns into a giant wick after it pushes below the support. I'll zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see it a little better. So yeah, this trend line is one we have to see. We want to see just this wick forming at the bottom, and hopefully it closes above this trend line for Bitcoin.
So what would be the price action for those who can't really see the screen? The price that it should close above, according to that support trend line now?
About 108,000. So there's a little bit of wiggle room that I would allow. But yeah, definitely 108K is the key support that I think is the most important at this time.
Okay, so what happens if we don't close above today? What are the critical levels to watch, and where could we be headed?
Well, the first one we want to check is the 0.618. That's at about 106,750. And that's this yellow horizontal line going across the screen here. And that's also starting to line up with the 200 MA that's also on the 6 hour. So those could converge to be at about the same level at 106.7 thousand for Bitcoin. That's where I would be expecting the next bounce if we weren't able to hold this trend line bounce on this trend line. Again, if that fails, though, then we could come down to test the next major levels. And that's getting closer to about 102, maybe down to 100K even. Really, what we have to see is if we do come down any lower, we want to see that there's a trend change idea going on. So over here, you had your first low. This was back in June of 2025, around the 5th or the 6th. And then we put in a lower low in June on the 23rd of 2025. So again, if this comes down any lower, we at least want to see it higher than this previous low. So that would be the next bullish idea to watch for if we do get a deeper pullback on this move here.
Right. So we're looking for it to have a higher low here, somewhere above 98,300, more or less, in order to see that kind of trend change idea.
Right. Yeah, that's the bullish idea within the bearish move that could happen. So there's a couple different scenarios here, but I think we're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves until we at least see where this candle closes in the short term on the 6 hour chart.
Right. And if somebody had traded the breakout, let's say you're learning how to leverage trade and it got stopped out, I mean, instead of jumping in here, what would you recommend? Or, and also people want to know about strategy. So let's say you're going to try to leverage trade Bitcoin as it breaks out from this support trend line. Where should their stops be ideally, or what would be the strategy there?
Well, again, it depends how much leverage you're using, depends how much risk you're willing to take on. Really, you'd be looking for a horizontal support. So this dotted line would have represented where you wanted to put, or where you wanted to see the confirmation break as far as a horizontal level. So if you were trading this with leverage, you'd probably want to zoom into like the 1 hour chart, for example. And by this point, you probably would have gotten stopped out. It's kind of a head and shoulders kind of idea here. So if you did get stopped out below the support line here, you might be looking for a re-entry. Now we're testing the 1 hour 200 MA. So at the very least, again, if you were using leverage, this isn't that big of a move. So if we say you entered right here at the break itself, down to where it is now, this is only 0.72%. So if you're using 10x leverage, that's only about 7.2% that you'd be risking in this trade. If you're using 100x leverage, though, then that starts to get into really crazy numbers. So really, it's just how much are you willing to lose? And that should be the amount of leverage that you're willing to use in a trade at the same time. So if you had entered into the trade, you probably already got stopped out just to be sure. It's really safe getting stopped out and sitting on the sidelines. If you take a small loss, it's not a big deal. You can always jump back in later. So that's one of the things we always tell people is that don't be afraid of getting stopped out. It's a risk management tool. If the price was to keep going down further, you'll be happy that you had that stop loss where it was. If it does bounce very shortly after it and it invalidates the bearish scenario, again, it's only a 0.72% move to the downside. If you miss that first entry, maybe you get a better one on the next time where it pulls back here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's just a mentality, guys, when you're going into trade to learn how to leverage trade. If you're stacking those sats, I mean, man, there's nothing to be bearish about at the moment. Let's see where Bitcoin settles and lands. But this is the key trend line to watch if you want continuation in this bullish move, or at least a higher low, right? So that's what we're looking for as of right now. And yeah, what up, Pipeline? I'm seeing a lot of similar faces around. I'm starting to feel like, this is our community. I'm counting on you guys every day now. So team captain, please pump us up. Baltimore, what's up, Baltimore? Man, it's got to be beautiful there this time of year. Happy 4th of July, guys, for everyone who celebrates, all the people from the U.S. in the house. It's a great, great day. We're just kind of chilling, hanging out, looking at what Bitcoin's doing. But overall, bullish. I said in the beginning, for those of you who are just joining, that I did a podcast with Anthony Scaramucci, back in April, and he said never bet against the U.S. because it is a risk-taking culture amidst everything. And even though there's a lot of turmoil in the world, it'll always come around, and we're there now. That's super fun to see. A team in the house, here to support one another. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go all the way. Like I started this playlist again, like I did 200 days to the halving before, and that was a phenomenal time. And I believe this is a phenomenal time to get laser focused again. There was kind of a long period where we're trending down and to the right. And I believe we're coming to the end of that consolidation. And we're getting ready for another move. So it's a good time to be back in the market. Richard, what's up? Richard in the house. Really cool, guys. So we're going to get to the fun portion of the analysis now. I think we have one more Bitcoin chart to show.
Yeah, this is just the Bitcoin 1 hour chart zoomed in a little bit. So I've got some fibs pulled, and I just want to see what it looks like on the smaller picture, just to see what kind of support levels that we're looking at down here. So a 0.5 retrace from the local bottom to the local top. That's a normal retrace on a impulse move. So if this is just going to continue higher, then we should expect to see these pullbacks along the way while we zigzag to the upside. So right now, really nothing has changed too much. It looks like a fairly normal correction. The one thing I do like to see on these pullbacks, though, is it's nicer to see some kind of a structure that you can trade instead of just a rollover and a dip. So if this had turned into a falling wedge or something a little more predictable, it might be a little easier to trade. But at this point, as I was saying, not a whole lot has changed as far as the structure of the coin or the structure of Bitcoin. Previously back here, you made your high, then you put in a low, and then this is a higher high than this previous high. So if this low is higher than this previous low, then this uptrend has already been started, and this is just a normal correction.
Yeah, very exciting. And on yesterday's stream, we gave some price levels to watch as far as, you know, the measure move if Bitcoin breaks out and continues. And it's pretty astounding, guys. It's pretty astounding. So go watch yesterday's stream if you didn't see that. Though it gets you really excited for the future, right? And there are all these people that are saying like Bitcoin could reach X price by, I don't know, 2027. And it sounds insane. But what sounds more insane right now is I say this every time, but it's like Bitcoin is closer to 1 million than 10,000. Right? I just remember during the pandemic times when Bitcoin went down to $3,000, and that was not that long ago, was it?
Yeah.
Like, how long ago was that?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very long ago now. Time kind of flies in the crypto space, though. So,
yeah.
But if you want to think of it another way, over the past 2 years, Bitcoin is almost up 10x. So when you start doubting of how much Bitcoin can go, you really got to look back and see what it's done over the past 2 years. It hasn't really felt like a bull run typically does because it's been a little slower. You get longer corrections. So we don't get this explosive move followed by another explosive move like we did in the past. It's a little more drawn out. So the excitement kind of fades quickly whenever there's a correction coming. People get excited. Bitcoin pulls back, the excitement calms down, and then people are chasing to get back in again when they see that it's making new highs consistently.
Right. Yeah. So don't be that chaser, guys. It's time to get positioned. And that's also what I said yesterday is there are only a handful of days, maybe a couple of weeks out of the year where Bitcoin is in sort of like parabolic price action or big moves happen. And if you're not positioned for those, you miss them. Right. And that's just like the risk of being out of the market. And I'm talking long-term investing now, but also trading. Like one of the things we do in the trading group is that Trip posts a lot of support entries, right? Rather than breakout trades. And those are much lower risk. In fact, we showed a theta chart yesterday, which was basically a ground level entry. I mean, we've got some pretty phenomenal entries going on right now if Bitcoin, you know, cooperates. And that's what it's all about. Those are the trades you want to be in. So we're teaching people how to do that. We've got a 20% off flash sale for July, 4th of July. It's in the link in the description below. We want you all as members. I want to help change your life because this is life changing, whether you're investing, trading, whatever it is. It's time to take the leap. So Michael reposted this stream. Thanks for sharing, guys. That helps a lot. We really want to amp this up. And like I said, it was just an idea that we had that we thought, you know, all of this valuable information, why don't we share it with everyone so that everybody can benefit? So that's it. And good vibes, of course. Before you go on, Trip, I just want to say we will have an all-time high celebratory party. I do that on my YouTube channel, but I am the co-founder of All Time High Vodka. I don't know if you're a vodka drinker, but let me know in the comments if you are. It's pretty cool. So I like to do that as just like a fun thing. And it's really cool because it's an RWA product. So it's in Costco UK, this vodka. And you'll be able to scan the top. It's an NFC chip and win anywhere from $1 to $1,000 of our token. We're going to hide a Bitcoin in one of the bottles. It's really exciting times. And it's great for mass adoption because they just kind of effortlessly learn about what crypto is by having fun, by being out, by whatever it may be. So we're really excited for that. It's built on Flare. And yeah, we are going to have an all-time high vodka toast, guys, when it hits a new all-time high, which I'm super excited about. So I got here a few other people in the house. Only subscribe to your YouTube channel. Okay. Well, thank you. Very good. Very good. A team up pipeline. What's shaking? You guys are awesome. I'm loving the vibes here. So good. Just did a quick vibe check. Trip, back to you.
Great, thank you. No worries. We'll move on to the altcoins next. I think the first one we have up here is Solana. So everyone's been waiting to see what Solana's going to do. It's been slowly crawling lower since about May. So now we're waiting for this break above this channel, which we've already seen so far. The volume wasn't very spectacular down here when we saw this break of the channel. And I think it's mostly because this 200 MA is acting as a stronger resistance overhead. So that 200 MA is an 8-hour 200 MA that needs to break next. And then we want to see a move to at least $185, which would be the next key resistance for Solana. We could potentially call this a cup and handle sort of a structure so far. So there's a bullish idea forming for Solana, but we don't have a lot of movement yet. Really, everything's just following Bitcoin and waiting to see if it's going to confirm that break above its previous all-time high, but before they can start making their own moves.
Right. Yeah, and I like just to kind of like do the check in my I have this rapid fire round in my podcast with all like the industry leaders. Like, are you Solana fan? Or are you an Ethereum fan? And not a fan. Like, do you believe more in one or the other? Right. And I just like to see what their reactions are. The majority were very bullish on ETH, but there were a few that chose Sol. Kevin O'Leary was one of them. So obviously, these are all going to be really important this cycle, and it's really cool to see. So Solana's looking pretty good. I'm guessing as soon as this starts to be, have a little bit better of a setup and starts to break out, that's kind of like a leading indicator for the rest of them, and Ethereum as well. So,
and meme coins too. A lot of the Solana meme coins should follow as well, I would think.
Right. Michael, I normally don't drink that much either, funny enough, even though I'm a co-founder of a vodka brand, but I do during celebratory times. I like to have a cheers. My watchman is trying to wake his lady up. Might put some ice on her. Give her an ATH cocktail, man. Like, it's time to celebrate. Yeah, good vibes here. Good vibes in the house. Solana, we just did Solana, so it's looking good. Next up, we've got, what do we have?
HBAR.
HBAR Barbarians. Any of you guys listening in now, let us know. I know there were a lot floating around on X yesterday. Let's see.
Right, so HBAR on the 8-hour chart as well here, we're looking at a big double bottom that could be forming. So we've actually touched this support once back in April of 2025, and more recently just in June 22nd of 2025. So now we're looking at this double bottom idea with this falling wedge, and very similar to Solana, it needs to break above that 200 MA and hold it. Right now it seems to be retesting this fib level of the 0.272, and that's at about 0.152 cents for HBAR so far. So a retest entry is what we're looking for. If we do get a bit of a bouncer, you might want to start scaling in. Really want to see it hold above that 200 MA though. We'll zoom in a little bit closer just to see what's actually going on down here. So initially we had a little bit of a break above the 200. Now it's pulling back a little bit while Bitcoin does. So it hasn't completely invalidated the setup yet, but it's definitely something that's a little bit of a caution sign when you see that it hasn't been able to hold that 200 MA after the breakout of the channel.
Right. So we should be cautious for now, but note that it is starting to form this bullish structure. You've got this massive double bottom going on potentially. And HBAR was one of the ones that ran the hardest in the last like mini alt season. I remember in the group, we caught the move. It was a pretty big move at that.
Right. Yeah. The first initial bounce from the last altcoin run was pretty good.
Yeah. And they're doing a lot of stuff with institutions. I know when I spoke in Davos at the WEF on a panel with their CFO, Betsabe from Hedera, man, they were the only, they were taking over the US house, guys. Like there was like a US house, there's all houses from all the different countries, and HBAR was the US house, which is pretty cool. So I got to learn more about them there, and they're just really involved in the institutional space and setting up that institutional grade infrastructure. So yeah, I think big things will happen for them this cycle.
Yeah, I agree. The structure looks fine. And again, everything's dependent on what Bitcoin's going to do. So really, we're just trying to time our entries with Bitcoin's performance. So as long as Bitcoin behaves over the next couple of days at least, going into the weekend, it's very common to see a bunch of fake outs or some unexpected price action, I guess, to say it nicely. But really, you want to see what's going to happen when the CMEs open again on Sunday, Monday of next week.
Right. Yep. All right. So what do we have next? Sort of a curveball next. Maybe many of you don't know about this next one.
Yeah, next one is MOCA, the MOCAVERSE. So that's Anna MOCA Brands token. This is a smaller cap coin, but again, it's a very similar structure to the other stuff. We're still on the 8-hour chart here. We have these same falling wedges forming on a bunch of altcoins. So this one actually came down to a key support level that we started way back here in October and November of 2024. That was the last time we visited this level. So just recently, up into June on 22nd, we saw another test of that same support level. So when you get a couple of bounces on major supports, you want to look for the next move higher from there forward. So at this point, you could either look for entry on this support level. If it comes back again, maybe you get a smaller double bottom just in here. I'll zoom in again for you guys. All right, so you got this one bottom, and this is a bigger structure, double bottom, if you compare back to the previous structure back here that we're looking at. So this is a major big bottom. And then this over here could be another major big bottom. And then down here, this is more of a minor trend bottoming pattern that you're looking for. If you come back down to this support and you get a higher low than this low, then that would be one idea to start scaling in for your entries. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting for the same thing. You want to see a break above this channel. Definitely want to see some volume come in to confirm that break. And then maybe once again, if you break above the 200 MA, you can add some more to that position if you're accumulating for the bigger picture.
Yeah, and it's good to have some of these lower caps in your portfolio if you want to take a little bit higher risk for a higher reward, right? I mean, that's how a lot of people are planning on building wealth, is structuring your portfolio with a big percentage of baby Bitcoin and ETH, but also those lower caps that'll do those bigger moves. And I'm telling you, when MOCA pumps, it pumps hard. Now, for those of you who don't know, MOCAVERSE is part of Anna MOCA Brands, which is co-founded by Yatsu. I have a podcast with him coming out soon that I filmed in New York. But guys, like, they're investing literally in everything. I mean, Anna MOCA is the one behind all of the gaming coins, and I just find it hard to believe on a fundamental level that they're not gonna, do everything they can to make this ecosystem amazing. So that's like the fundamentals behind MOCA, which is really cool. And actually, if you buy the NFT, which I had for a while, you can stake the NFT and earn MOCA up until like October 2025. So there's a lot of cool things going on in their ecosystem. Trip, I see you have a measured move up there.
Yeah, just to see what the price range would look like if you were to get an entry down here near support. So that's about 136% move. It's pretty decent. I'm just going to compare it to what HBAR would do and that same idea. So we'll consider the entry here at this breakout, and really the measure move of this double bottom. That's up to this 2.0 level at about 31 cents. So that's 102% move from its current level. If you were to get in closer to the bottom, this actually isn't too far off. It's about 130% for HBAR, and MOCA would be about 136% from about the same entry level. So really, I just wanted to get an idea to see how much bigger of a move you could see from MOCA compared to HBAR. But really, again, too, these structures are also very different in size when you start to zoom out. So right. 1 second, I'll clear this chart. We're going to go up to maybe a weekly chart to see what this looks like. Maybe that's a little too big. We'll try maybe a 2-day. So now you've got this really big structure that could be forming. This is one of the things that I've noticed over the previous bull runs, is that we thought all of these patterns down here were some of the biggest patterns we've ever seen, that these moves were just gigantic, which is true. They definitely were. But now it seems like the crazy thing that I didn't expect to happen, but I thought it'd be really neat if this is the truth, is that now these are starting to form even bigger structures. So now you get even bigger moves, where this level at support here for this entry now turns into a close to an 800% measured move if this is a double bottom on MOCA. So, it's just interesting that every season we think that these are the biggest structures I've ever seen, and then a new season comes years later and it just dwarfs what you saw last time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see it. Like, when you zoom out like this and you look at the whole picture. Of course, when we're trading, we're just seeing levels on the intermediate side, or the next few months or maybe even year. But like, this is long term, and man, there's some really cool ways to look at these charts. Trip is like a wizard sorcerer doing magic with it. That's what it feels like. It feels like magic with these charts, but really it's just, it's a skill that you learn that gives you an edge, right, Trip?
Yeah, it really is just I'm trying to plan on all different scales. So if I go to a daily chart, I want to find a bullish idea. And then if I zoom out to the weekly, I want to find another bullish idea. So really that's all I'm doing is starting at the highest time frames, zooming in, zooming in, zooming in until I don't see any more bullish ideas. And then I'm either waiting for a bullish idea to appear, or I'm just looking at the bigger picture to confirm something that says that the bigger structure could be in play.
Right. No, very cool. I mean, these charts are it's fun to see it at this level. I mean, just imagine, I think it was this past November, when was it that the altcoins went crazy? Everybody was chasing and FOMO and oh my God, I gotta buy now. Why not right now when we're down at the ground level? Let's go, you guys. Like, let's get laser focused. Like now is the time to start learning these skills. I see a couple of comments now. A bunch of us in here are cookie DAO. Okay, yeah, a lot of people talking about cookie DAO. So what would the chart be for that one? Do we have some time to look at some charts, Trip, or how are we doing here?
Sure, just let me get this one back in its sorts here.
All right. Cookie rocks. You don't start with cookie. I thought that was my safe haven. Okay, a lot of people talking about cookie. Triple, you put, is that one it? Yeah, cookie USDT.
Yeah, I remember watching Cookie for a bit when it first came out. I think we had a pretty, there was that deep fall that we had. Really not too long ago. This is in May. That's when you started to see this peak out from that bottom, though. It's definitely a pretty decent move. So just to measure that move up to the top of this wick. So it's already done a 400% move. So this is a pretty big range that it has for playing in. Just if you took a short-term trade, we're going to zoom into the, we'll check out the 4-hour here. And really, we're just going to look up for, I'm going to add a resistance level. And this one up here. And maybe one right here just to see. You got a couple of pops up to this level before, and it was a support bounce back here. So I'll put in our floor. So this is even a pretty decent trade. If you were to break above this level here at about 18.47 cents, you could see a move to the top of this local range, and that's a pretty decent move. This is only a 4-hour chart. That's a 40% move just to the top of this local range here. So Cookie's definitely a decent one we could be keeping an eye on if we see that break above the resistance. If we come back down to the support, that could be another potential entry. The only thing I'd be concerned about is if this is a bigger bearish pattern, then I probably wouldn't be too aggressive on the entry down here until I saw at least a couple of bounces. Maybe if it made a lower low and you see some divergence, that would be a better entry with more confidence at the very least. So the way it looks right now, I think it could go either way. And it probably is also very dependent on what Bitcoin does next.
Oh yeah, Cookie's looking good, guys. Yeah, and there's a lot of altcoins that are having some pretty good or building some pretty good structure here. So let's see what happens. But it's fun to trade these ones that typically have those bigger swings, right? So it's like about an 80% there, right?
Yeah,
from the
definitely.
support level.
Right. So that's one of the reasons why I like to trade some of the newer coins is they don't have a ton of price structure yet. So you think of it like a sound wave. At the beginning, it's very loud. And then as it gets quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter, the waves get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you really want to catch them when they're getting those first initial bounces before it starts to mellow out and start consolidating, getting smaller. So you could take advantage of this more so now than you could later on. So the moves are definitely going to be bigger in the beginning than they will be later.
Okay, I like that echoing sound analogy. That's pretty cool. Trip has got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Very cool. Though I like this. 808 Mimis. Is that an area code? I'm just curious, but welcome. All you guys who just joined. I mean, we're almost wrapping up now. I feel like sometimes we should just play music for 10 minutes, get everybody hyped up and then start because we really get the flow toward the end. But I'm just asking about the area code because my old area code was 805. Anybody know where 805 is from? If you do, put it in the comments because you're going to win a prize. I don't know. That's pretty cool if you do. And what's everybody doing today for 4th of July? I just want to know. What everybody's plans are. Is everybody hyped, pumped? You taking a day off? Are you trying to have the rest of your life off because you're looking for financial freedom, because you want to get out of the matrix? Because then you came to the right place. Michael, what about Trump coin? Man, I don't know. What about Trump coin? I mean, it had a pretty good run in the beginning, but then, all the memes kind of just, it was a tough space to be in, right? We're pulling it up. Okay, Trip's feeling lucky today. I see. He's got some energy to pull up some more charts. Really good. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I don't mind taking a look.
All right, let's take a look at Trump coin.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of bullish action yet. I mean, it's coming back down to support, but really don't have much of a falling wedge here that I would like to see. So really, we got to see if it's going to bounce at this support level. We'll add that in. So that's at about $7.55. We're sitting at about $8.58 right now. So I think a pullback of $1 more to this support could be a really good entry if you're looking for a double bottom idea. But other than that, there's not a whole lot going on yet because there's not a lot of structure to trade. And really, you just want to see something building if we get that bounce over here in this area. So I don't have a ton of confidence in the setup as it looks right now. I would definitely be paying attention to it over the next week or two to see what happens, though.
All right, let's see. I mean, as soon as the meme coins come back, I mean, they're all going to come raging back kind of together, I feel, right? Like it's if it's meme coin season, it's just very few of them run without it being actual season, except for Pengu. Pengu is a great chart. Luca Netz knows what he's doing. He took that thing mainstream. He went to Walmart with the toys. They're all over the stock exchange all the time. I mean, big things are happening there. So Pengu is kind of like in a league of its own. Pipeline says he leveraged trades Trump. Wow, that's pretty ballsy. That's you're brave. I mean, there's probably a lot of whipsaw action here. Bought $200 worth. Okay. So we've got people in the chat saying they'd love to retire Trip. I mean, what do you think about that? You think that they're on track at this point in time, learning these skills? And what are your thoughts for people who are just getting into this space who want to have that financial freedom?
Well, just having the willingness to look into this space already means you're in the right direction. So it really just shows that you want something more out of life. You don't just want to do the 9-to-5 job and having to, basically be a slave for somebody else, right? So, yeah, just putting your foot in the door, at least to get started, is the best thing you can do for yourself. I don't know how I could ever do anything else for work in my life after I discovered doing all this from the comfort of my home. I get to make my own schedule. I get to do more things for myself more often without being tied down to a schedule. So yeah, definitely, I think it's the best thing you can do for yourself, at least learning how to trade. Maybe not to trade all the time for day trading. I think we talked about this in our last episode, but it's just to make better informed decisions. Even if you're just a more passive investor, you just want to have a better entry so your returns are better overall.
Right. Yeah, now is the time to do it, man. Crypto is borderless. I travel all the time. I absolutely love the freedom of being in this space. And I love being surrounded by you guys who have the same mentality. Sometimes I feel like I don't connect with my older friends as much because I feel like we're in a parallel universe over here, that we know something that the rest of the world doesn't know yet. And I got to take a pause for a minute because a lot of people seem to be fans of this Austin guy. I want to know who Austin is. A-team, tell me who Austin is. Everybody's loving Austin. 808 is Maui. Okay, I just learned something now. That's pretty cool. Anybody know where 805 is yet? I'm waiting for anybody to know who 805 is. And don't look it up. Just let me know if you know where that area code is from. But one of us. Yeah, tell me who Austin is. Somebody better let me know because a lot of people seem to be your fan. So thanks for jumping on and hanging with us on this 4th of July that we're getting ready to celebrate big time. We're just talking about financial freedom and getting ahead of the curve. Earlier, I talked about the fact that Michael Saylor says that we potentially are in the beginning of a Bitcoin gold rush that will last a decade. By the end of this decade, 2035 is when 99% of Bitcoin will be mined. And that is a crazy, astounding stat. There are so many things you guys can do to start working toward that retirement. I mean, you can go as fast as your skill level permits, right? And also market conditions, but now is the time. So there's this thing called Coinbits where you can connect your credit cards and like round up your change to just stack sats. So it's like a sales tax on yourself. Every time you buy something, you have to add a little to your Bitcoin stack. There's Bitcoin IRA. You can buy and sell and trade Bitcoin for free within your IRA. I mean, for free, tax free. You don't have that capital gains, it's deferred. So there's a lot of things and tricks you guys can do. Maybe I'll make a whole episode just on that. My dad's a CPA, so he helps me a lot with tax optimization. But yeah, joining the A-team, that's what it's about. I mean, wow, love this. Crypto 24/7. We can hop in and out of market trades any day. That's right. It trades 24/7. The market never sleeps. Neither do we. I don't know about you guys, but I wake up like so excited to check the charts and just dive right into this space. It's just so invigorating. It's like, wow, you feel alive, right? I don't know if you guys feel the same, but that's how I feel. So I know a lot of people are saying Austin's in the chat. I just don't know who Austin is. And I want to know who he is. So yeah. So Trip, I mean, back to the financial freedom part. potentially if people are learning these skills that we are learning in the trading group, you have your long-term portfolio in your trading group. I mean, the group is less than a cup of coffee a day, right? And that pays for itself very quickly if you actually apply yourself and you learn and you get involved in some of the charts that we're drawing out. But the skills will last you a lifetime. And we're also doing stocks right now. I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts, Trip? What are your plans?
My plan is mostly just focusing on the compounding. So I do have a trading portfolio that's for holding stuff for longer term during the alt season or the Bitcoin run-ups, just in general. And then I do have another account where I take very specific trades and I wait for the best bullish signals that I can see. And sometimes they take maybe a month or two to show up, but the success rate on those trades is about 80 to 90%. And it's really because I'm not chasing anything. I'm waiting for the signal that I know works the best. If you were to trade this signal 100 times, about 70 to 80% of that time, you're going to have it play out in your favor. So instead of having a trade where it's maybe a 60% chance, where it's still almost the same as a flip of a coin or almost the same as a blackjack hand, then I start to say, I'd rather find something else that I can be a little more reliant on for as far as the returns. So what I focus on mostly is having that smaller bag on the side, doing its own thing, accumulating and growing during the market boom. And then I'm also compounding along the way. So if I do, for example, if I had $5,000, if you double that every trade, so you go from 5,000 to 10,000, and then you go from 10,000 to 20, and then 20 to 40, 40 to 80 to 160. Starting with 5,000, you could get to 1.24 or 1.28 million after 8 trades. This is a ridiculous amount of discipline because you're not trading all the time. You're not trying to jump into breakouts. You're waiting for that ultimate signal that only appears maybe once or twice a month on average. So every year you might get maybe 12 of those opportunities. So that's what I focus on most, is that there's a longer game that I'm playing instead of trying to just trade the current price action and hoping that it plays out for the best.
Wow. Okay. So 5 trades to 1 million potentially.
8.
If you're saying, 8 trades to 1 million. So if you're saying 12 of these scenarios may play out per year, I mean, this is just approximations. You could potentially achieve that goal in a year if the conditions are right. I mean, 5,000 to 1 million, guys. Let me know in the comments if that's something that sounds cool to you, because, if you start with 500, then just do the math and you can multiply it out to where you could reach. But there's just so much potential here. And I just want to interject. I'm seeing that Austin is a YouTuber who's come on here to spread the crypto love. Austin, you're awesome. I think that's amazing. I think we need to do more of that. Thank you for supporting us, guys. And also go in there if you like HBAR and go and raid their tweets. Like they just tweeted about my podcast with Kevin O'Leary and how Kevin O'Leary said that he was, it's one of his top holdings and most promising projects. Go in there and like show that some love. Show the Capital Mindset some love on X, our trading group, guys. And we appreciate you all so much, honestly. This has been super fun. And yes, Trip is very knowledgeable and he knows his stuff. So 8 trades to 1 million, man, that's also on the table. If that sounds like it's for you, that's a possibility. So we're here for it. We're really happy to be here. And I think we're going to start wrapping this up. Anybody have any last minute charts we want to go over? Otherwise, I think we're going to come to an end here. A lot of love for the HBAR team in the A team. We're part of the A team now, aren't we, Trip? We're going to join the A team. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any closing remarks, any charts you guys have burning desire to see? Otherwise, maybe we'll do like a strategy session. Let us know what you want to see more of, because you've got the absolute best mentor here. And it's astounding. So HBAR needs that retail awareness. I would agree. So we need to start bringing the retail side to HBAR. How about a call with them? I'd probably jump on a call next week, man. They're a very cool team. Do I like ADA? I just did a podcast with Charles Hoskinson in Vegas, and man, that one was mind blowing. He talked about his bullet ant journey in the Amazon, and wow. I mean, the guy is crazy in a great way. Like, he's just a genius, and I think he's going to take us to great heights. If Cardano becomes brings the DeFi layer to Bitcoin, imagine, the liquidity that's going to unlock. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind we're going places with ADA, Cardano. I know a lot of people don't like Cardano, but I am a big fan. It was one of my first bigger investments, and wow. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm trying to find those horses to win the race and the infrastructure, and I think it could be there. So that being said, guys, I think it's just time to like let people go and enjoy their day and have an amazing 4th of July. Trip, it's been really awesome to be here with you today. I'm glad we get to join the A team. Austin is skeptical of Cardano. Oh, he loves ADA. Okay. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people, some people love it, some people hate it, but man, I'm in it. Have you heard that man talk? I mean, wow, he is brilliant. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Trip, any closing remarks?
Not really. Just need to watch what Bitcoin does today. So as I've got on this chart here, this retest really needs to hold. That's the one thing that we need to see next. And we still have about 2 hours left for the 6-hour candle to close. So this could turn into a big wick, but if it closes below, I would definitely be a little more cautious about entering a long at this point for sure.
Right. Okay. Well, now you guys have got the levels to watch. It's been real hanging out. I'm glad we joined the A team today. And thanks for all the love. And we will see you guys next week on Monday. So yeah, have a fantastic 4th of July weekend, everyone. And we'll see you soon.